So, I'm back. I'm back a little bit later than I was hoping for because someone forgot to actually do a pre-recorded video to be released earlier today. My bad. My bad. Sleep was just too good. It's one of those. Sleep was just too good. And then I had work in the afternoon, so the time that I wanted to use the late morning for, I couldn't. So, yeah, that's my bad, but we're back, alas. Alas, we are back. Alas, alas. We are back, and boy, oh boy, do we have something to talk about. Zidane Iqbal, probably the latest breaking of the outgoing players. And yet again, much like the Eric Bailly news, is that he's going for absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Wow, I say nothing. A small loan of $1 million, as how Trump puts it. But seriously, not much difference. But we have seen today breaking that United have accepted an offer from FC Utrecht. If that's how you pronounce it, I might have absolutely butchered that. I'm sorry to whoever is an Utrecht fan. But they pushed in the door an offer for Zidane Iqbal worth up to 1 million euros with an alleged significant sell-on clause. So what does this mean? What does this mean? It means that much like Eric Bailly, United are now letting players go for next to no money. That's the second one. But this one's a bit of a different taste. Because Zidane Iqbal's not one of the players who's earning hundreds of thousands of pounds every week. He's still arguably an academy prospect. At the age of 20, was on pre-season tour last season. Thought he did a fairly good job. Thought he was doing all right. Thought perhaps maybe this coming season we'd see a little bit more of him. But as is seemingly become obvious, that the club said, well, pack your bags, buddy. Start learning Chinese because you're out of here. You're out of here. You're fired. Well, he's not fired, but he's sold. When I think quite a few fans in this fan base were assuming perhaps a loan deal to bed him into first team football at first team level. But I don't think Eric has seen the same picture, so stuck him on transfer list, and Utrecht's offer seems to be the one that United see fit. I mean, I'm surprised that it's so cheap. I am surprised it's so cheap. And I see there's quite a few big accounts that are actually pretty peed off with it. I guess I should be too, but then again, if it's a player that we don't need, why would he be staying here? If we don't need this player, get him out the door. Why waste time? Why beat around the bush? Just do it. Just, drop the axe, chop the head off. But yeah, so straight to the point. Breaking news that Zidane Iqbal seems to be, as it stands, off to FC Utrecht in the Netherlands, in the Eredivisie. And a significant sell-on clause, well, we don't know what percentages that's going to be. We don't know what significant is significant, or how significant is. Could be a significantly low significant clause. Could be a significantly large significant sell-on clause. Or could just significantly be saying significantly too many times. Significantly. So we'll have to see, but it's just one of those. If lo and behold, maybe they do a cheeky deal with another club and they sell them for half the price, and then it's just like, oh, there you go, United, you can have them. There's like sell them for 500,000 euros. Here you go. Have like 50% of it. Have 250,000 euros. I mean, it's I don't even know. I mean, significant sell-on clause for a player that's not really, had any breakout seasons yet. No starring games. So I don't really know the thinking or the perceived plan to have a significant sell-on clause for a player that you're letting go to another club that's not got as much a promise that they're going to turn him into some world beater or some superstar. I mean, the next transfer he's probably going to get, I mean, it's just speculative, we're just, talking a hypotheticals, but maybe his next transfer probably be worth about 10 million euros. Because, I mean, you're selling him into the European market. Unless he gets bought back by a Premier League club, then they might be able to charge him for a lot more. But it's also to Utrecht, which, no offense to them, but they charge absolutely nothing for their players. They're completely dirt cheap. So I don't know. I don't know. We're hearing that there's quite a few other breaking stories, or there's feelers being put out there. I think Fred, someone who earlier in the season, towards the end of the season, I think it was the game against Fulham, the Fulham game against Fulham, when they weren't being fools, which was the league game at the very end of the season. We saw Marco Silva chatting up Fred outside Old Trafford. And by the looks of it, it's only now starting to materialise itself a bit more. So we're seeing here from the Telegraph that Fred will not be offered a new deal. Manchester United is being coaxed in, is being drawn in, sucked in like a supermassive black hole in West London to go play for Fulham. So, Fred to me is one of the must-sell players, and it's probably one of the few players that you can actually command a stronger fee for. 20 million was a supposed asking price that was just chucked out there, and so far Fulham have said, "Well, no, not 20 million. We'll go less, and we hope and pray that you'll take less." And by the way, that two of the players might be getting sold for, in Bailly and Iqbal, it looks like they might drop the price for Fred as well. Why not? Why not? It's also here as well, just going on from Fred, here is Scott McTominay, even though he's contracted to June 2025, regarded as less of a priority than Fred, which is, this is also from the Telegraph, that if Scott McTominay is on the sale list, then absolutely get in there, son. Get in there, my son. Sell him. If we have to pay for him to leave. I mean, he's not on a massive contract. But sell him. Get rid of him. He is not Man United standard. We've known this for 3, 4, 5 years. He's 26, going on 27. And to almost treat him still as this prospect, it's like the Jesse Lingard effect again. It's not Jesse Lingard all over again. He's not Man United standard. But because we used the age argument when he was doing terribly back then, we still seem to find a way to use the same argument 5 years later I mean, hell, he'll probably be 32 if he's somehow still at Man United. You'll still hear someone talking about, but he's only 32. He's so young. Seriously, for one, swivel on it. For anyone who has that opinion, swivel on it. Suck on it. Suck on it. Because he shouldn't be here. He should have gone ages ago. He should have gone years ago. Fred, that Fulham don't want to spend 20 million on, we signed him for 50. How many people forgot about that? We signed Fred for 50. 50 million. That's like, and that's not today's market, by the way. That's old. That's the old market. Yeah, it's like the season. Was it the same season as Pogba coming in? Might have been the same season or the season after, but even so, Fred, we paid Shakhtar Donetsk 50 million. 50 million for Fred. Like, it's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's just seen here as well from Rob Dawson when he's done an interview on United Stand YouTube channel that MUFC's recruitment have a bad reputation in the industry. Clubs see it as exciting should they contact them regarding a signing because they know that they'll likely overpay. Well, I'm not surprised. You might as well add like you've got the long list of all the things that we know this club is, its reputation is really piss poor for. You might as well add another thing onto the top of that list, that we now no longer just let players' contracts run down, but we also sell players for dirt cheap when we pay extortionately high prices for them to begin with. So it's swings and roundabouts at the circus that is Manchester United Football Club. And it is a circus. It's absolutely circus. Greatest circus in town, because you've got the most underqualified clowns trying to put on a masterpiece of a show. And with every passing day, I mean, of course, it's from one of the ITK accounts that has been saying this, talking about, oh, Eric, he's getting really frustrated. He might walk. He might quit the job if the sale dooley-da doesn't get sorted out in the next week or so. So I'm just like, well, you're an ITK. The information you have probably doesn't exist. Maybe the source that you have doesn't exist. But I can't fully disagree with you, because what's to say that Eric says, well, the next season's just completely a write-off, and why am I going to waste a year in my career if I'm just watching my project get rubbished and thrown in the trash? Because that's the premise of what Ten Hag wants to build his team on. Build your team, have the backing from the board. Constantly assigning the players that he wants, selling the players that he doesn't need, and you just keep that motion. You keep the joints oiled. Keep the clockwork ticking. But for some stupid reason, this board are so backwards and so useless at their jobs. And this is the thing. I see it all the time. The second that we see some action being done, it's like, well, the tail end of last season's summer transfer window. We were seeing it towards the tail end of the transfer window that, well, John Murtough's a genius, or Richard Arnold's a genius, or wow, they're not as bad as Edward Ward. They're not as bad as those sorts of people. Like, bro, they might not be as bad, but where they're not as bad in one department, they make up for it in the other. Yeah, they make up for the mediocrity in another department. So actually, they're roughly about the same kind of trash. They're the same kind of crap, but one supersedes in one department, and the other will supersede in the other. And it's just like it's like two clowns. One wears one type of face paint, and the other wears the other type. They're both clowns. They look different, but they're both clowns. And that's the thing. And because this transfer window has started so shambolically, it's hard for them to hide from the fact, because all the other clubs with less of a priority to need to do all of this critical, high acclaimed business are getting their business done quicker, cheaper, and more suited for their particular clubs. And it's painting this ever, like the picture that's being painted on this Manchester United board for the rest of the world to see is just getting more and more and more ugly. And it's just, the canvas is screwed up. I mean, even now, if you started to sign players, it's not going to be this fantastic summer. It's not going to be a fantastic summer. However, whichever way you dress it up, because we've fallen so far behind most of our first choice targets in the transfer races that we can't recover. So the best case scenario is not even recovering to sign any of our first choice targets. And that's the problem. Mason Mount is as close as we are going to get to a first choice target, full stop. Because I don't think Kane's coming. Hoyland, don't think he's coming. Oshiman's not coming. Kim Min-jae's going to Bayern. Declan Rice is probably going to either end up at Arsenal City. Caicedo's probably going to end up at Chelsea. Jurriën Timber, even he's going potentially to Arsenal. I mean, you think about it, all of these different targets, and all it takes is for it to become breaking that Manchester United are interested in a player, and you watch when you start to see all these other club names start getting into this, into these races with Man United for these new names that get mentioned in the tabloids, in the press releases. And then it's just like, well, fantastic. So we won't even be on the B choice of players now. We're on the C choice. We're on the D choice. We're on the E choice. I mean, forget it. You might as well put us on the Z choice. Because the second that this board is showing some incompetency, but what they're trying to hide this as is like, oh, but we're trying to be sensible. We're trying to be appropriate. We're trying to not overspend. We're trying not to be stupid with our money, or there's not a lot of money to play with. Well, the problem is you, because you've damaged your own reputation so much that no matter what it is you do, you're going to have to pay the price for it. For what you've done over the past 5-10 years is all going to come back to haunt you. And unfortunately, it's like one of those slippery slopes. You're sliding down it at the moment. You're not teetering on the edge. You're not, oh, we might slip. No, you're slipping. You're halfway down the slope, and at the bottom there's lava, and you're going straight in that lava pit, and you're going to die. Well, they're not going to die, but they're going to lose their jobs inevitably, because this takeover. I mean, the takeover, I think, is bound to happen. It's bound to happen. But what's not going to happen is this takeover is going to be quick enough to help recover this transfer window. Now, I had a joking sort of negative Nancy outlook that maybe the Glazers hold on to this club until the final day of the transfer window, and then they pull the plug. And then they say, okay, we're gone, bye-bye. They wait for the transfer window to close, and then they do it. What's to say they just don't do that? I mean, it's the negative Nancy outlook, but still, You know, with how backwards and how, evil these Glazers have been in running this club, what's to say that they just don't do that? The ultimate send off FU to the fan base. What stops them? Honestly, what stops them? Nothing. So it's just like, well, we're going to have to deal with being fed absolute garbage for another summer. And Eric Ten Hag, maybe he chooses to walk. Maybe he chooses to quit the job because his reputation might very well be on the line, hampered once again by the owners that have let yet another manager down. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this up, peeps. But yeah, I'm going to stop this now before I go too knee deep in the swamp, in the sewage, and go chill out for the rest of the evening and sign off for the night. If you guys do enjoy this content, if you'd like to see more of this content, and you'd love to support me and make me feel better about this whole situation, because you'd be so very kind and generous, do be sure to drop a like, drop a subscription, and hit that notification bell for when I next upload content. In terms of tomorrow, I'm going to be absolutely... I want to push for this. I want to try and do a 3 pre-recorded videos and have those uploaded at 3 different points throughout the day, as like a late morning one, a mid-afternoon, and a late afternoon. And then outside of that, I can record an extra video as like a reaction to something that happens, or potentially go live. You'll have a constant stream of guaranteed content coming out on this channel, and I think you peeps would deserve that, because don't say that I don't do kind things for the viewers, which, as it stands with how my channel is at the moment, there is next to no viewers. But for anyone who does become a late bloomer, you never know. I'll just have to see how things goes. But as for now, it is a ciao for now. And I'm going to bury my head in the bed and enjoy a pint-sized chocolate milk and cry myself to sleep until I know that this club is in good hands and actually gets run properly, which probably ain't going to be for another few weeks to months for what we know. But until then, it is goodbye from me, and ciao.